Hi everybody, this is Darren Dunlop with the Fargo-Moorhead West Fargo Chamber. I'm very excited today that we're going to try out a brand new on-location video member spotlight. I'm joined today by my young protege here, Tyler Fishback. So Tyler's going to take over the introductions and I'll be conducting the interview.
Yeah, so today we're with Dustin and Brad, who you'll meet in a minute, the co-owners of 4-Star Ninja Academy. So we were here about a year ago for your grand opening, so congratulations on a year in
Thank
business.
you. Yeah.
That's a huge feat.
Yeah, it's, there's been some trying times, there's been some awesome times, but one thing's for sure is that we as the owners here, we're here all the time. It rarely feels like work. You're here playing around, you're inspiring people, and there's all that fun-loving environment. So, 1 year in the books, and it doesn't quite feel like it's been that long. So that's been pretty exciting.
That's great.
Yeah.
One thing at the ribbon cutting that I remember, you had a cool story kind of at the background about why you came up with this idea and what led you to starting the gym. Can you give the people who weren't lucky enough to be at the ribbon cutting a little background in your story?
Yeah. So as far as how the idea of the gym came up, a lot of that goes to my partner, Brad Butcher, and he'll kind of tell his side of the story. But how our relationship started was we were both out of shape, overweight, and we were kind of realized that, and so we wanted to make a change, and so we started talking about nutrition, and we started talking about different fitness things that we were trying, and every day we come in, he'd grab his coffee, he'd come to my office, and we'd sit and talk. What workout are you trying this week? What diet are you trying? And we had all these fun conversations. Well, then it started with him talking about, in this area, how we wish there was, more for a more fun type way to work out, something that was more enjoyable for everybody, and he was a huge fan of the show, and he can kind of explain that. But, as far as my personal accomplishments was after we started changing my lifestyle a little bit, and I lost down 40 pounds from when I started just with some nutrition, and then I started stepping up my fitness game. Yeah, I started doing some CrossFit because I knew that this was coming. We were moving into this, so I was like, I'm gonna go do some CrossFit. So I started a CrossFit at EHP and did that for, it was probably 8-9 months, where I was able to, tone up a little bit more, but it still didn't quite get me prepared for the type of muscles and body movements that you're using when you're doing Ninja. And there's some movements that are very different from CrossFit versus Ninja. But once I started doing Ninja, that's when I saw a lot more definition, some more weight loss, and now I get to my journey. I get to teach others, kids all the way up to adults, sharing my challenges and change, transformation with them, and hopefully inspire them to do the same. And whether it is you just want to get healthy, or you want to compete and do some actual Ninja.
Yeah, that's cool. That kind of touched on another question that I had for you. So it ranges from kids all the way to adults. What kind of different programs do you offer people? What kind of classes do you have? What are all the options that people have when they come here?
So we have just your general open gym. You can stop in, try it out. So we get a number of people that'll come in just for an hour session, because they've seen the show, that gets them excited. They want to see what they can do, so they come in and challenge themselves. Those are always fun. With our memberships, you do get classes. With just your unlimited membership, you get unlimited open gym and classes. So we actually don't limit the age. There's a recommended age, but we don't actually limit how young you can be to come here, because some of those basic movements, running, jumping, and climbing, you start working on as a very small child. And so we have our intro ninjas, where we have some 3-year-olds, 4, 5, 6-year-olds that come in, and we just work on running, jumping from box to box, swinging on a ring, getting them comfortable, jumping down to a mat. Those are a lot of fun. Then we've got basically all the way up into Brad, who's 53 years old. He'd be our oldest ninja here that competes. So we have classes, like an intermediate class. So we step it up a little bit. We do more in the air obstacles. We do some more training on our weight rig out back, where we work on doing things like dead hangs, pull-ups, a lot of upper body work to get them comfortable hanging and holding themselves. And then we have a competition team as well. So we've got, just our regular open gym, we've got our classes, and then we have a competition team that we train twice a week. We get together and we do all kinds of workouts where they're more competition style, so they're timed runs, really pushing yourself so that when a competition does come up, you're ready to compete.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's quite a range. We do have competitions here as well, so that's another thing. Whether or not you're on the competition team, you can still partake in. So,
you guys, I know we talked a little bit before this. You have something coming up on the 25th. Is that what it is? This month? Now, is that something going on here?
Yes.
It is.
So,
what is that?
That is going to be 1 year from our grand opening celebration. So last year, July 25th, we had Grant McCartney, the Island Ninja, come in and help us with the grand opening, and then we did all kinds of ninja challenges, different games. This time around, it's going to be a little bit more structured. So we will have separate age groups. We'll start off in the morning, 10 a.m. You can come in. We'll have our first age group, so it'll be 6 all the way up to 10, and then we'll have 11 through 15 after that, and then we'll have our adult age group. So then we can kind of mix up some of the obstacles, make things a little bit more challenging for the adults. As you get older, obviously some obstacles can be too easy, or you don't want to make things too hard for the younger age groups. So we're gonna have all these different options, and then we're spreading things out a little bit so that everyone can have that social distancing. We're a very large facility, so we're going to have sections set up for chairs. So if parents want to come and just sit and watch, hang out, we'll have that for them. But then we're going to have the groups in between, rather than just having everybody come whenever they want. We want to spread those out just so that everybody feels comfortable coming. It's only $15 to compete too. $10 for members, $15 for non-members. It's actually cheaper than our open gym. It's kind of a thank you for our 1 year. We want everyone to come in and celebrate and experience a ninja competition in a less competitive, more fun type atmosphere.
So Dustin, this is a very cool facility. I'm just curious, in the 1 year that you've had here, have you had any personal stories of clients that have really kind of stood out to you? Yeah,
we've actually got a number of some members that, we've got them in all different ages. So two of our adult members that actually inspire me and push me is Brody Black. He was actually training to be on the show previously before we even opened, and so he was here at our grand opening and realized that there's a ninja facility in town, and he started playing around on the obstacles and fell in love, and him and I have been sitting here. He's actually taught me some things, and he does, he competes in all the ninja competitions. He's really done well. He actually brought a friend in, Christian is his name, and Christian is by far one of the best ninjas that we have here. He's just got the right build, and he's incredibly strong and fast. And there's a ninja competition coming up down in Minneapolis this weekend, and so a handful of us will be going down to compete. And Christian kind of showed up, did his first ninja competition and he takes second place. He's never competed before. And so as soon as we saw that, we were like, okay, so this guy is very talented. He is very strong and he is fast. He doesn't think, he just goes, which is kind of what you need to do when you're in a race on doing ninja courses. And so I have to kind of build into that a little bit more, because you can see him, he doesn't even think and he just goes, and that's how you save that time. Where I have a tendency to overthink, I'll stop on an obstacle and I'll look at it and I'll analyze it, catch my breath maybe, and then I'll move on, which in turn makes me a little bit slower. And that's just a habit that I need to break, and that I'm trying to learn from him a little bit in that aspect. As far as some of our younger ninjas, we have some 10-year-olds. We actually have a couple of 8-year-olds. They're here every day. every day. It's crazy, and they're going 100 miles an hour every time they're here, and they're always asking questions. You know, how do I do this? How can I do this? And how can I get better at this? Ooh, can you time me? I want to do a timed course run. You know, so they're always up asking us questions, and you know, it's so cool because you come out and then they do something and everybody gets so excited, and you can see, you know, their eyes light up, and you know, they can truly love the sport and you know, accomplishing these new challenging things. So when you come in, not everything you can do right away. Just swinging on the rings. My first time doing ninja, I could barely swing on the rings. It was actually pretty comical going back and watching videos of me trying to swing on the rings. And so seeing these kids all of a sudden make these huge strides. And not only the ninja, there are some that are competing, but what's really cool is you hear the parents come in and say, we were just at Liam's baseball game, and since he's been training here, his strength has gotten so great that his pitching is now worlds better than it was last year. We've seen all these huge improvements with other sports, and that's one thing. You're here, you're working on balance, agility, upper body, and you know, if you're a basketball player, you maybe not working on upper body all the time, so you're building all the foundations that relate to every single other sport. So that's really cool.
You know, and I think that you hear professional athletes talking all the time that it's really unhealthy for kids to start focusing in on one sport at too young of an age, because you're not developing those muscle groups. So I can see where this ninja area would be absolutely, you know, it's
right
help in any sport that you're looking at. You know, I mentioned to you earlier that, I think I'm way older than Brad, so I don't qualify for anything like this, and plus, as I said, I have a suit on. But, you know, I so much enjoy watching the competitions on television. It's the excitement that's in the crowd really, I think, feeds the athletes, and so I just want to get your feedback on how the TV show has maybe influenced some of your membership.
Yeah, you know, kind of when I was talking, when you get those drop-ins, there's a lot of people, or members, a lot of people that come in, you know, they started watching the show, so they got really excited because, you know, they hear Ninja Warrior training. Most people are like, oh, that's just like the show. And yes, we've even got obstacles that they have on the show, the salmon ladder, the warp walls, those sort of things. So, you know, Ninja Warrior, it started out, it's on what, 12th, 13th season? No, 12th season, yeah. And as the show started to grow in popularity, that's when gyms started to grow, and because there weren't facilities like this to train for things like Ninja Warrior, because all the obstacles are so different, and every year they're coming up with a different type of obstacle. And so all of a sudden you're seeing these little gyms pop up. Well, it takes a lot of training and a lot of effort to get onto the show, and so you need a place to train. Everybody needs a place to train, and so then gyms started popping up more and more. And with that started leagues outside of American Ninja Warrior. So we have a league that we're a part of. It's an international league. It's called FINA, or Federation of International Ninja Athletics. And you compete, we host competitions, and so do other gyms. You go and compete, and then you earn your spot at the World Finals, which this year is going to be in Michigan. They just changed it. I can't remember the name of the new gym. So you earn your spot, and then you go there and you compete at Worlds against ninjas from all over, and you compete for cash prizes, and they'll have a bunch of other games there. And so all these leagues, there's, you know, a number of big leagues, NNL, UNAA, and then we're actually just joined a regional league. So we're partnered with 5 other gyms from North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Iowa. And so with those gyms, we are hosting just a regional league, so you're competing with people close by, and you don't have to travel across the nation to try and go to a ninja competition. You know, you drive to Sioux Falls, you drive to Minneapolis. You know, those trips aren't too bad. And so we started this regional league, which actually July 18th, so the weekend before our 1-year grand opening celebration, we're actually hosting NCNS, or North Central Ninja Series competition here. think it's $45 to compete. It's a little bit more expensive, but you compete, and if you do well, you move on to the next stage, or you accumulate points throughout the season to earn your spot at the finals, which is going to be in Sioux Falls this year. Each one of the NCNS competitions has $700 in cash or prizes. It's up to the facility to determine what they want to do for that, and so we'll have different things we'll be giving away. But so that is where the show has now bred an entire community of and competition series with all these leagues, and has really expanded on that. So let's say the show, goes away. Maybe it because it becomes unpopular at some point. Who knows? We now have this established, all these established leagues to keep Ninja Warrior as a part of everybody's sports or athletic programs, and so yeah, it's been. I mean, because of the show, now there's this whole thing. I growing up never thought this would be something I'd be doing, but let me tell you, now after doing this, I don't want to go back to anything else. It's wild.
I think it's so cool because, so it's not just a fad. I mean, it's obviously, and every workout can be different, tailored and customized. And I'm assuming that's where you and your team help out with each of the athletes. So, this is, we're so excited that you've decided to make Fargo your home. This is such a great addition to our health community, especially for the younger people, not guys in
I mean, a lot of this was Brad's baby. He came up with it, and you can go ahead and talk about why.
For my inspiration, where I got my idea from, or why I wanted to jump into this was with my family. I raised 4 kids, and trying to find a way to keep them fit and exercising. They were in school sports. They were maybe did 1 or 2 sports, but when they weren't in sports, they weren't doing anything. They were sitting on the couch playing video games. It's like, I couldn't get them to go to the gym with me. That's the last thing they wanted to do is go lift weights. And so it's like, what can we do to, get my kids going? And so I've been a huge fan of the show. I've watched the show since it was the Japanese version. I've watched it grow. I've watched several ninjas on Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that. Watch what they do, and the competition network and the community behind it. It's not, the TV show is just a small part. If the TV show went away, this would all still be here. There's still this huge ninja family. There's still a huge competition network, and that's what this is all about. Mm-hmm. And so I started watching that and learning about that and going, that looks fun. I'd kind of like to be on the show, but at my age, my body's telling me, like, yeah, right, whatever. Don't think it's going to happen, but I still like to have that dream and try to make it happen and accomplish it. So I'm here trying to do that, but to give that opportunity to other people to bring their kids in here, let them. The kids are more or less just playing, and that's kind of the atmosphere we give here. It's just a way to play. But the way we set things up, the way things are designed here is for kids to get exercise. They're actually working their bodies, getting a workout, burning calories, building muscles. They don't know it, but that's what they're doing.
They think they're playing around, but they're actually getting a workout in.
But everything that we put in place for them is working on something in their body, whether it be core, balance, stabilizers, arm strengths, anything like that. Those are the things we're trying to develop on them. And then the other part behind it that we really try to help is with the confidence, overcoming fears, gaining the strength. Those are the things that really, those are our core values that we like to stand behind here. So that's something they're going to learn here and also going to take into life with them. That they walk in here and look at this, and yeah, it looks fun, but everything they try is their fear is just, I'm afraid to do this. And once you coach them through it and they learn how to do it, they overcome that fear and start gaining their confidence. And it's like, oh wow, this is kind of easy now. And so they learn that process. And that's another thing that we try to instill here in our kids is
you won't be able to do everything right away. Yeah, it's meant to be hard.
We try to teach kids how to fail. I mean, that's what you have to do with this first, is learn how to fail.
Yep.
And once you learn how to fail and grow from that and overcome it, then you learn how to succeed. And that's what we really work on here. And a lot of kids that come here, you do get both kinds of kids. You'll get a kid here that can grasp that and go, yep, I can't do this, but I want to, and they'll come back and learn and try to do it. Then you get other kids that come in here and just look at it and try it and go, it's too hard, and they don't come back again. So, we try to have those conversations and try to get them to come back. So, it's hard, but come back, work on it, you'll get better at it. And, so that's our goal, is to, just convince these kids it's not that difficult. And
that's where the classes are a huge benefit, is teaching them and being with other ninjas that haven't accomplished certain obstacles yet. Seeing other people fail on an obstacle, makes them realize that it's not a big deal if you can't get it. That's the whole point. That's why we're here, is we're going to continue working on it to build that strength so that you can accomplish it. And I always go back to, I say, all right, let me show you a video of me, my first week here. It was rough. And I thought I was in pretty good shape at the time, but I was not, I wasn't there. And so, my confidence was shaken a little bit, but I was like, all right, I'm gonna keep working on these. Start with the rings. Let's just hammer on the rings till I can get through those. Then we'll start making progress from there. And then it became fun, like, let's do some crazy stuff that most people probably won't get, and it'll be like a once in a lifetime obstacle. So let's try doing this. And everyone just works on it for 45 minutes. All of a sudden somebody lands it, everyone gets excited, crazy, we run around, cheer, and then it's like, all right, we did that, now we move on to something else. But that's the fun part of it, is these crazy challenges that you don't think you can get, and you just work on it, and all of a sudden one time it blows up and everyone gets pumped. That's where Brody Black, he is fearless. And he has done some things that I wouldn't have thought of trying, and seeing him hammer on it for a week, 2 weeks, all of a sudden he lands it, and you just get chills throughout your body, and you get so excited.
Yep, it's fun to watch.
Yeah. Going back to talking about your kids and trying to get them excited and stuff. I always have one member that I like to talk about because it touched me emotionally. It was she came in, all she wanted to do was do the monkey bars at school. So her dad was like, all right, we need to get her some training. She came in here and she just played around on the obstacles, and we would work with her. And I remember one day I helped her up. We have the monkey bars on the other side. I helped her up and got her up to the bar, got her hanging, got her feeling comfortable. All of a sudden one day something snapped, she went through it, she dropped down, and you saw tears coming down her face. And I just got chills now too. Like seeing her cry, because she's like, oh my gosh, I just did something, like this was my goal, this is why I came here. And seeing that switch for her, like we just helped her accomplish something that she never thought she could do. And that is why, that is the reason we wanted to get into this, is help those kids do things that they never thought they could do.
That's life-changing.
Yeah.
For somebody.
And we have many stories like that. I mean, we have another one just like that, called mom that called before we even opened, asking questions about our gym. What are we about? Will my daughter be able to do this? And her biggest thing was, my daughter is not that fit. So will she fit in there? Will she be able to do things? And we told her, I said, well, that's the kind of kid we want, is one that's not fit, and we want to make them fit. And she, so after we talked for a while, she came in and tried it out, and her daughter loved it. And same thing, couldn't do the monkey bars, couldn't do the rings. Her whole goal for the first month they were here was just to accomplish the rings. And she did. I mean, she goes across the rings now like it was nothing. I mean, she just loves it. And she's inspired her little brother too. I mean, he's the same way. He said we couldn't do anything, and now he's just a little beast on things too. But those are things that parents don't understand. That this is what this gym's for. It's not just here as a playground. We're here to help your kids. We want to bring them in here and make them into a more healthy lifestyle. I mean, we're not going to make them into these huge beasts, Hulks or whatever.
Right.
We just want to make them healthy and fit. We don't. My kids, struggled with weight and all the time, and a lot of kids do it. I mean, it's huge. Child obesity is really huge right now, and parents are always asking, how do we combat that? What do we do? And this is a place for that. But it's just something that kids have to understand that they're not going to be able to do it. But if they have the heart and the drive to do it, eventually they will.
That's fantastic. Well, gentlemen, thank you for letting us spend the afternoon with you guys. I'd shake your hands, but you got me all sweaty, breathing hard. But thank you for that. And on behalf of the FMWF Chamber and our members and everybody watching, thank you guys for what you do for us in the community. And
thank you.
We wish you the best of luck for the next year and 10 years after that.
Appreciate it very much.
Hopefully
Thank you.
coming to a neighborhood near you.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Woo! Made that look easy. All right. Nice work. 15th try. That's pretty good.